I'm going to show you how to needle felt the cutest little sheep. It's a super simple project that should take around 40 minutes, perfect for beginners. All the wool and tools I am using are from Heidi Feathers, and you will find their link in the description below, along with a full materials list. This isn't a sponsored post, I just really love their wool and needles. And if you'd like to try a more detailed sheep tutorial, stick around to the end of the video where I'll share the link for that. Let's get started. So I'm using a barbecue skewer to create the entire sheep, and I've just started with this lovely light grey carded wool, and it really doesn't matter what type of wool you are using because this is for the body, so it's going to be covered. So you can use a wool top or a carded wool, and I'm just aiming to create a barrel shape. And the reason I'm doing it behind around the barbecue skewer is because it means I can get rid of all the air, so you have a really nice firm felt to start with, and it really speeds up the needle felting process. I am using a 38 star needle, so that's a medium needle or a medium coarse needle, which is a really good all-rounder. You really shouldn't be using a fine needle when you're working around a barbecue skewer or wire when you're at the actual start of your project, because that will break. If it catches the barbecue skewer, which inevitably it will do, it will break immediately. So use a 38 or a 36 if that's your preferred needle, and they are good all-rounders and they are really robust, so will take some stick and some knocks. So as you can see, I've created this really simple barrel shape. It's a basic shape that will work for many of your needle felting projects. You'll find you are repeating this shape over and over. And then what I'm doing is I'm just softening it a little around the edges, so taking those square ends off. And then we're ready for the head. And the head is just the same. It's just a smaller version of the body, except it's more of an egg shape when you finish. So as I'm wrapping it round, notice that I am keeping that wool flat. I am not twisting it, and I'm keeping my hands close to the wool because otherwise it will pull away and tear off. If that happens, it doesn't matter. And start with less than you think you need. So I've pulled off some here because I think I'm going to have too much. I may need to add some in a little while, but I'm going to work with that for now and then add whatever I need later on. You can always add more wool, but you can't take it away. So just keep felting as you did with the body shape and work diagonally to really smooth those shapes and create those sort of more tapered edges, so you've got that more of an egg shape. And then the little hole at the end, you can just pop the needle around it, through it, and that will get rid of any holes. And then I've just wrapped a little bit more wool just to make it a little bit bigger. Use your hands. Your hands are really good for smoothing shapes. I'm now attaching the head just gently to the body, and then when that is done, we can start on the ears with two small equally sized pinches of wool folded up into a petal shape. Roll the end between your fingers. That end is going to stay loose because we're going to attach the ears to each other using that, or if you're attaching the ears separately, you'll use that to attach to the back of the head. I'm just using felting pen here. It's got two needles in it. You don't need it, but it's just to show you how it speeds up the process. And I'm just going to swap over the top, the protective topper, just so you can see a little bit better. If you have any questions, make sure to ask in the comments. I love questions. It really helps me to understand what you need and the type of content you like. Check out the description for the link for my fantastic blog guide to needle felting, full of free tutorials, guides, top tips and quick wins. All the stuff I've learned about needle felting since I started in 2013, and the tools you need to quickly and easily find your craft confidence. So once you've finished creating those ear shapes, they are going to be ready to attach together using those loose little bits at the end, and then they will then be attached to the back of the head. If you want a really more detailed tutorial for the sheep, then I'll pop the link at the end of this video. That one is in real time, step by step, and it's a bigger sheep. It's a Herdwick sheep, and you can really felt along with me in real time. But this is just a quick guide, especially if you are new to needle felting or you just want a quick idea of how to make it. Now I'm doing the legs. I've done 3 legs, so I'm just going to show you how to do this final leg. Again, exactly the same as you did with the head and the body, but much thinner. And remember to keep one end loose, because that loose end attaches to the body. Always when you are creating limbs, leave a little bit loose at the end, and that means you've got some nice fresh wool, which makes it easier to attach. It's not the end of the world if you don't do that, but it just does make your needle felting life a little bit easier. And here we've just got very short, stumpy legs. I'm flattening the end with my needle, as you can see there. Still using my 38 needle, good all-rounder, nice and robust. And just really felting it till it's nice and firm, because they need to be stable to hold the sheep. The entire sheep only weighs 6 grams, so you need very small amounts of wool. There's not a lot of weight here at all, so there's nothing really to stabilize. No need for wires. Even in the bigger sheep, no need for wires, unless it's for a specific project and it actually requires it. But as you can see, I've got that kind of cone shape going on here. So the flat end will be the feet, and where it goes to and narrows off to a point, that's where the loose wool is left, and that will attach to underneath the body. And then once you have those 4 legs made and ready, just spread out that loose wool at the base and poke through. Because they're really tiny, you can poke straight through the leg and into the body, and that nice loose fresh wool will find itself easily attaching. And don't worry too much about position at the moment. You can do that when you've got them all attached, and just use your fingers. Eyes need to be tiny amounts of wool. I've used this really nice sort of charcoal grey. I haven't used black because I find black a little bit too harsh. You can even go with a dark brown, but it's a tiny amount. Pop it where you want that eye to go, and then just push with intent straight into the face, and then repeat for the other eye. If you get it wrong and there's too much wool, take it out and start again. It's not worth trying to fix it. It's a tiny amount of wool, and you're better off just removing it and starting again. But it's really simple. So you're just learning these lovely basic techniques, which you will then go on to use for all of your needle felting projects. And then just give it a quick tidy up. Make sure there's no loose strands. Make sure the ears are nice and tidy. And then we're going to work on this top coat. Now, in lieu of having any curly wool, which you might not have, you can use a buccal yarn, or you can just use a normal wool yarn and easily create your own lovely sort of curly top coat. So you just grab some of that yarn, tease it into place with the needle. I am using the finer needle now because I find that it goes through the yarn and into the body much better. So make sure you keep using it in a straight line, and just gather that wool, curl it around until you have completed the whole body and the entire body is covered. And then I'm also going to pop some on the head, which you can see here. How did yours turn out? Let me know in the comments. And if you're ready for more, I've got a really popular needle felted sheep pattern available for download on my website, links below, and it's a step-by-step guide with full colour photos of every stage, so it's perfect for taking your felting to the next level. Thanks so much.